We're ranking 6 countries with the highest odds of surviving a full-scale global war, from fortified mountain nations to islands so small they don't appear on a single target list. And one of these countries even has a 100% survival rate. Bunker networks, food surpluses, energy independence, and sheer invisibility. Each entry earned its place for a different reason. Starting at number 6, with a nation that built enough shelter space for every single citizen. In the 6th place, Switzerland stands as the world's only country where shelter from nuclear fallout is not just a privilege, but a right written into law. Since 1963, every new home, school, and public building has been required to include a bomb-proof bunker, creating a network that now numbers around 370,000 shelters. The Federal Office for Civil Protection maintains a registry confirming more than 9 million shelter spaces, enough to cover the entire population with a surplus for tourists and transient workers. That's a ratio no other nation comes close to matching. The average shelter holds about 24 people, but some public facilities can accommodate hundreds, and even the smallest alpine villages are covered by reinforced communal bunkers. Switzerland's rugged topography offers a natural shield, with many of these shelters carved directly into the mountainsides or tucked beneath city streets. The country's tradition of neutrality, dating back to 1815 Congress of Vienna, has kept it off the list of likely first-strike targets. Yet its Central European location means it sits within range of almost every major arsenal, making its survival strategy less about distance and more about readiness. Annual drills, a CHF 276 million upgrade program, and a digital shelter finder app keep the population prepared. In Switzerland, survival isn't left to chance or geography. It's built, inspected, and mapped into the national identity. In the 5th place, New Zealand sits over 1,500 kilometers from its nearest continental neighbor, surrounded by nothing but open Pacific. That oceanic moat is more than just a scenic backdrop. It's a natural barrier that puts New Zealand well outside the immediate reach of most nuclear-armed states. The country's food security is equally impressive. According to Faustat, New Zealand produces about 120% of its domestic cereal needs, exporting the surplus even in lean years. With an annual rainfall exceeding 2,500 millimeters in key agricultural regions, fresh water is never in short supply. These fundamentals have not gone unnoticed by the world's ultra-wealthy. Tech billionaire Peter Thiel famously bought a sprawling South Island property in 2023, fueling the country's reputation as the ultimate billionaire doomsday retreat. Despite its light engagement in the ANZUS alliance, New Zealand maintains a modest military and has kept nuclear weapons out of its territory since the 1980s. With minimal strategic targets and a population just over 5 million, New Zealand offers a blend of remote and self-reliance that few nations can match. If distance is the best defense, this is as far as you can get. In the 4th place, Iceland stands apart as the only nation on Earth to generate all of its electricity from renewable sources. Geothermal fields and glacial rivers power a grid that delivers clean, reliable energy to every home and business, year-round. This total energy independence means that, even if global fuel shipments were cut off, the lights and heaters would stay on for all 376,000 residents. The country's commitment to sustainability dates back to the 1970s, when it made the strategic decision to harness volcanic heat and abundant water, freeing itself from imported oil. Unlike most NATO members, Iceland maintains no standing army. Its defense relies on a lightly armed coast guard and international agreements, but it has never hosted nuclear weapons or large foreign bases. Geographically, the island sits in the North Atlantic, more than 2,300 kilometers from Moscow and well outside the range of most conventional strike plans. While Iceland's volcanic soil limits large-scale agriculture, its fisheries are among the richest in the world, providing a stable food source. In a scenario where energy supply is the difference between survival and collapse, Iceland's self-sustaining grid becomes its strongest shield. In the 3rd place, Australia offers a scale and resource base that few nations can rival. Spanning 7.7 million square kilometers, It stands as a continental buffer between the Pacific and Indian Oceans, with a landmass larger than all of Western Europe combined. The heart of Australia is its vast, sparsely populated interior, the outback, where population density drops below 1 person per square kilometre. This emptiness acts as a natural shield, putting thousands of kilometres between strategic coastal targets and the country's interior. The sheer size means that even in the event of an attack on major cities, millions could disperse inland, far from likely strike zones. Resource wealth is another cornerstone of Australia's survival profile. The nation produces around 900 million tonnes of iron ore each year, accounting for more than 1/3 of global supply, and is a leading exporter of coal, bauxite, and rare earths. Its agricultural sector is robust, with fertile coastal belts supporting wheat, beef, and dairy exports that regularly exceed domestic needs. Water security comes from the Great Artesian Basin, one of the world's largest underground freshwater reserves, sustaining both agriculture and remote communities, even in drought years. While Australia's alliance with the United States may raise its profile in strategic planning, its sheer size, resource independence, and the ability to retreat inland give it a unique resilience. In a world where distance and self-sufficiency are at a premium, Australia's continental scale stands as its greatest asset. In the second place, Argentina stretches across the far southern reaches of the Americas, separated from the world's major nuclear powers by more than 7,500 kilometers of ocean and sky. This sheer distance acts as a natural buffer, placing Argentina well outside the immediate range of most intercontinental ballistic missiles, and keeping it off primary strike lists. But remoteness is only part of the story. Argentina's greatest asset lies in its agricultural might. Each year, the country produces over 75 million tons of cereals, wheat, maize, and soybeans, according to FAO-Stat. That's more than enough to feed its population of 45 million, with a surplus that regularly places Argentina among the world's top grain exporters. Even in a global crisis, official reserves hover near 10 million tons, enough to cover national consumption for more than 2 months without imports. Water security is equally robust. The Parana River Basin, one of the largest on the continent, delivers around 2,600 cubic kilometers of renewable fresh water annually. Per capita, that's more than 35,000 cubic meters, far above the level considered water-stressed by the United Nations. Modern irrigation systems cover vast tracts of the pampas, ensuring that crops can withstand seasonal droughts and climate variability. While about 92% of Argentines live in cities, most urban centers are concentrated along the Rio de la Plata corridor, leaving the interior sparsely populated and low in strategic value. Argentina's history of political non-alignment and absence from major global alliances further reduces its risk as a target. In a scenario where food, water, and distance are the currency of survival, Argentina stands out as a southern breadbasket refuge, capable of supporting its own population and absorbing refugees, even as the rest of the world faces unprecedented upheaval. And finally, in first place, Tuvalu stands as the world's most improbable survivor, a nation so remote and strategically invisible that it slips beneath the notice of every nuclear war planner. With just 11,500 residents scattered across 9 coral atolls in the Central Pacific, Tuvalu is the definition of a country hiding in plain sight. There are no military bases, no airstrips for bombers, no critical infrastructure, just a handful of villages, palm trees, and a single main road on each island. The nearest major military installation, Hickam Air Force Base in Hawaii, lies over 5,300 kilometers away, and even the closest regional powers maintain only diplomatic ties, not defense pacts. On the maps produced by the Barclay Nuclear Risk Model, Tuvalu is a blank space, absent from every conceivable strike scenario. In the cold logic of global conflict, it offers nothing to gain and nothing to destroy. This is the punchline of the so-called 100% survival rate. Tuvalu is so far from the centers of power and so devoid of strategic value that its odds of being hit by a direct nuclear strike are essentially zero. The nation's defense budget is non-existent, its only security coming from a loose Pacific Island security arrangement and the vastness of the surrounding ocean. In theory, if World War III erupted tomorrow, Tuvalu's people would wake up to a world unchanged. No sirens, no fallout shelters, just the relentless sun and the sound of the surf. But this perfect survival scenario comes with a catch. According to the United Nations, Tuvalu faces an existential threat, not from war, but from the rising sea. Current climate projections warn that up to 80% of its land could disappear by the end of the century, with sea levels rising 3 to 4 millimeters per year. The irony is sharp. The country most likely to survive humanity's worst impulses may not survive humanity's footprint on the planet. For now, though, Tuvalu remains the invisible target, safe not because of strength or preparation, but because in the great game of global strategy, it simply does not appear on the board. Across all 6 countries, one fact stands out. Survival in a global conflict isn't about strength, but about being overlooked, isolated, self-sufficient, and geopolitically irrelevant. In a world built on targets, invisibility is the ultimate defense. The safest places aren't the strongest, they're the ones everyone ignores.